Okay, it's about a bright and nice Wednesday to get together at this time as usual here on Channel Television for Business Morning. It's no longer news, but itself, you're just waking up to that. President Buhari's budget for 2018 is now in the water, and that will be until 2018. Yesterday, the upper house of legislature, the Senate, says all considerations of the budget will be on hold until 2018. So right now we have no due date for the delivery of next year's appropriations, and that is the news. We're yet to hear from the lower house of the legislature, the House of Reps, that suspended discussions on the debate on the budget until December the 19th. That was 24 hours ago. Let's hear, we've heard from their senior colleagues. It's now to hear from the House of Reps whether the budget will also be kept on hold until next year. Technically, we will not have a brand new budget by 1st of January 2018. That's what it means. So we're going to continue the conundrum around this annual ritual of budgeting in the new year. Let's skip all the fireworks until then. Let's come back to the countdown to Christmas. The cost of intercity transportation by road is rising steadily, as you may have seen in the news and on social media, as petrol product scarcity remains very naughty, despite assurances from the State Oil Corporation, the NNPC, that 300 additional trucks has been released to Lagos and extra 100 trucks to Abuja. Those are Nigeria's two largest cities. Well, one is the political capital, the other is the economic and financial epicenter. So when you take care of Lagos and Abuja, technically, perhaps you may have taken care of two of the major travel points in the country. But the cost of the intercity for folks who are making early travels, they're paying higher now by buses and vehicles and other forms of travel to see their families and friends for the traditional end-of-year long holiday. And, of course, schools are already on vacation. So that's where folks are now paying more. So a number of queues at the petrol station still there. For us to see. This is what the NNPC head of public relations, Udu Gamadu, says in a statement yesterday. He says in part that with the call-off of the warning strike by the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association, that's by the acronym PENGASEN, that was 2 days ago, the NNPC wishes to assure motorists that normalcy will soon be restored in all parts of the country. End of quote. Meantime, while the NNPC is battling the availability of petrol products on the streets and across the petrol stations, the Senate Committee on Finance, sitting before they suspended the entire budget discussions for next year, was looking at the state of revenue and the financials of the NNPC, and they said, part of what they said was they are unhappy with the NNPC. One of the Senate committee members, Senator Abubakar Yusuf, says in quote, quoting part, he says, we're talking about leakages at the NNPC, and he asks the question, is the NNPC cooperating? He says, why can't we liquidate the NNPC? It is better we liquidate NNPC because it is no longer relevant. The senator went on to say that that NNPC do not respect anybody. They do not respect us, that is the senators, and NNPC has become a drain pipe that should be liquidated. That's a statement in the media credited to Senator Abubakar Yusuf, who is a member of the Senate Committee on Finance. And again, we have the finance minister also taking her turn to defend our ministry's budget for 2018. So she used the occasion of the 2018 budget deliberations at the Senate to speak to the budget 2017, which is still running. That started in June, if you remember. And the finance minister took the opportunity to tell the senators that the release of 750 billion naira that was promised 2 weeks ago for budget 2017 capital projects has commenced. The finance chief says the accounts of the MDAs, that's the ministries, departments, and agencies, have been credited as she spoke. She said if the MDAs check their balances, they will have a different balance in their accounts. They need to check that right away. Adeosun went on to say that the ongoing capital projects will be rolled over into 2018. So that put pay to it that some of the other projects, capital projects in the 2017 budget will be rolled over into 2018. So that's now becomes official, at least from the finance minister. And she's added that the funds now being released, the 750 billion being released in tranches, will enable the MDAs to complete those ongoing projects to ease infrastructure problems across the country. Okay, let's throw in some energy news into the conversation this morning. The House of Reps Committee has asked the Fashala's Power Works and Housing Ministry to stop rural power access program scheduled for 8 federal universities across the country. The Representatives Committee says they're querying the cost of the project, which they said was 42 billion. Naira. We thought that was 10 billion, but the House of Reps they said the cost of the project was 42 billion. So they're querying the cost of the project, and they also are querying the profile of the contractors. They didn't name those contractors, but they said those contractors were not qualified to handle those projects. And they're also qualifying how those 8 universities were decided upon. And that is one piece of energy news this morning. Meantime, we have a private power generating company called Kingline Development, says it's throwing $550 million into the phase 1 of the Omotosho Ondo State power plant, which is invested in. That power plant will have a capacity of 1,100 megawatts. The firm says a PPA arrangement, which is a power purchase agreement, has been signed with NBET, that's the bulk energy trader, to offtake 550 megawatts in the first phase over the next 20-year period. And that's the news there. That project is located in Omotosho in Ondo State. And also sticking with the power sector, the agency responsible for the management of the facilities that transmit electricity, NEMSA, says it's starting a technical monitoring and evaluation of